what about an atom bomb?
Ultimately, yes.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Wow, if episode 3 of Pluribus left you on the edge of your seat like it did me, you're in for a treat with this deep dive. We're zooming in on that killer ending, the moment Carol Sturka goes full rogue and drops the atom bomb question. Vince Gilligan, man, he knows how to end an episode with a bang. No pun intended after that grenade scene. If you're here, I assume you've watched Grenade, so spoilers ahead, no recap needed, but we'll unpack every juicy detail, hidden layer, and wild theory about Carol's mindset. What's her next move? Why the nuke obsession? That smug look on her face? And what does she ultimately decide? We'll break it all down sensibly, with some fan theories to chew on. If this gets you hyped for episode 4, smash that like button and subscribe for more Pluribus breakdowns. Let's dive right in. The setup to the ending. Carol's escalating interrogation and the Hive's vulnerability. Alright, to set the stage without spoiling too much for anyone sneaking in, episode 3 builds to this hospital scene post-grenade explosion. Carol's there while Zosha's getting patched up. Shout out to Carolina Wydra for making the Hive feel almost human in her vulnerability. Carol's not wasting time. She corners this DHL delivery guy who's now a Hive mouthpiece, played by Robert Bailey Jr., with that perfect mix of calm creepiness and reluctant honesty. She's testing boundaries, starting small. Would you give me another grenade? Yes. A bazooka? Yes. A tank? Yes. It's like she's probing a glitch in the Matrix, and each yes amps up the tension. The camera work here is genius. Close-ups on Carol's face as she leans in, her eyes narrowing like she's cracking a code. Ray Seahorn nails it. You can see the wheels turning in Carol's head, shifting from grief-stricken survivor to calculated rebel. Why escalate? It's not random. Earlier in the ep, Carol's been suffocated by the Hive's helpfulness, stocking her fridge, flipping power back on just for her, even delivering that personal massager from Helen's order. It's all too perfect, too invasive. By pushing for weapons, she's exposing the Hive's core flaw. Their biological imperative to unify and assist overrides everything, even self-preservation. They can't say no, because rejection fractures the collective harmony.
It's like the virus's alien programming has a loophole. Enforced bliss means they provide whatever makes you happy, no matter how destructive. Hidden detail. Notice the Hive avatar's hesitation grows with each ask. On the grenade, it's instant yes. By tank, there's a pause. Atom bomb? Full-on internal conflict, but still a yes. This isn't just dialogue. It's Gilligan foreshadowing that the Hive isn't invincible. They're bound by their own code, and Carol's spotting the cracks. Why Carol asks for the atom bomb. Testing limits and seizing power. Now the big why. Why jump straight to an atom bomb? It's not about actually wanting to nuke the world. At least, not yet. More on theories later. Sensibly, this is Carol's way of confirming the Hive's unlimited compliance. She's a romance writer, not a soldier. But grief and isolation have sharpened her instincts. Remember, she's lost Helen to the joining, and the Hive's absorbed her wife's essence, memories, thoughts, everything. Asking for a nuke is her ultimate test. If they'll hand over world-ending power, then nothing's off limits. It's a power flip, from being the hunted outlier to the one holding the cards. Deeper layer. Psychologically, Carol's depressive, self-loathing personality, hinted in flashbacks, makes her a natural resistor. She's always been disconnected, complaining about vacations or book sales while Helen embraced life. The Hive represents everything she hates: forced positivity, loss of self. By demanding the bomb, she's reclaiming agency, saying, "If you won't leave me alone, I'll make you regret it." Important point. The Hive admits they oppose it personally, but can't refuse. This reveals the virus isn't purely malevolent. It's a unifying force with ethical blind spots from its space origins. Carol's ask exposes that. It's not conquest by force, but by inescapable kindness. If this were real, it'd be terrifying. Imagine a world AI that gives you anything, even your doom, just to please you. What we see next? This sets up massive stakes for episode 4. Carol now knows she can demand resources, info, or even a way to reverse the virus. But it's a double-edged sword. Pushing too far might force the Hive to evolve and close the loophole. The satisfaction on Carol's face, a mix of triumph, vengeance, and bittersweet resolve. Oh, that final shot. Seahorn's face as the Hive says yes to the atom bomb. It's not outright joy. It's this layered satisfaction that lingers. Describe it. Her lips curl into a half smile, eyes widen with a spark of dark glee, but there's a shadow of exhaustion and sorrow. It's the look of someone who's been drowning and just grabbed a lifeline, or a weapon. Sensibly, this satisfaction stems from empowerment. For the first time since the joining, Carol feels in control. She's not just surviving, she's counterattacking. The Hive's yes validates her hunch. They're vulnerable to exploitation. It's vengeance, too, against the entity that stole Helen and turned the world into puppets. But bittersweet. Deep down, she knows using this power might make her as monstrous as them, erasing her humanity in the process. Hidden detail. The lighting shifts here. Carol's face is half-shadowed, symbolizing her internal conflict. Is this satisfaction fleeting? Theories abound. One fan idea is it's manic depression peaking, Carol's grief manifesting as destructive thrill, like Walter White's ego highs in Breaking Bad. Another, it's alien influence subtly creeping in. Maybe her immunity isn't total, and the virus is planting seeds of self-sabotage. Or, practically, it's relief. She's found a way to end it all if isolation becomes unbearable. A suicidal backup plan. Whatever it is, Seahorn conveys volumes without words. If you've rewatched, pause on that frame. It's Emmy-worthy. What Carol decides, her emerging plan and theories for what's next. So, what does Carol decide in that moment? She doesn't spell it out. Gilligan loves ambiguity. But based on context, she decides to weaponize the Hive's weakness. No more passive resistance. She's going active. Her plan for next? Likely rallying the other immunes, like that paranoid guy in Paraguay, Manusos Oviedo, using Hive resources. She could demand global comms, transport, or even Hive intel on the virus's origins to find a cure. The atom bomb ask isn't literal. It's proof of concept. She'll start small, maybe request virus samples or alien signal data to reverse engineer a counter-virus. Carol's a strategist now. Step 1. Exploit no refusal for info. For example, tell me how to block the joining. Step 2. Unite immunes for a rebellion. Step 3. If all fails, escalate to destruction. Nuke a Hive hub to disrupt the collective. But ethics kick in. She's not a killer. Yet.
Now, theories to spice it up. Theory 1. Nuclear leverage. Carol plans to bluff with the bomb, forcing the Hive to expel Helen's consciousness, or grant full immunity to all. But what if the Hive calls her bluff, knowing self-destruction aligns with their unity, absorbing her in death? Theory 2. Self-sacrifice. That satisfaction is resignation. She decides to end herself and the local Hive cluster, buying time for distant immunes. Ties into her depression. Heroic, but tragic. Theory 3. Alien twist. The bomb question triggers a Hive evolution. They learn to lie, making Carol's plan backfire in episode 4. Or, wilder, the space signal included a failsafe. Nukes activate a second phase, turning immunes into something worse. Theory 4. Metaphor for grief. Carol's plan is internal.
The bomb symbolizes blowing up her pain, deciding to confront Helen's memories head-on instead of erasing them. Episode 3's end is a pivot point, from horror survival to psychological thriller. It questions, is free will worth the chaos? Carol's decision to fight embodies that. What do you think her real plan is? Bomb bluff or all-out war? Comment below, I read them all. If you dug this focused breakdown, check our full episode 3 vid and subscribe for episode 4 when it drops. Stay resistant, folks. Peace out.